Hey, this is Simon. We have a lot of fun with our spoiler section and we want more of you to have access. So we've added the spoiler perk to the Landed Knight tier. Follow the link to buy me a coffee in the show notes and sign up to hear the future. Thanks. Hello, welcome to the Ghosts of Harrenhal. My name's Simon.
And I'm Mackelly.
Thank you for joining us for episode 314. I like to think of it as pie, of our chapter-by-chapter book review of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Today we're discussing chapter 42. I like to think of it as the meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Of
yes.
A Dance with Dragons, which is the King's Prize.
You've made the sweep. All of the books, chapter 42. You got that call in there.
Did I?
I believe so. I think.
Yeah. Whenever I see the number 42, what else do I think of?
Right. What else is there? Well, I think Jackie Robinson was 42.
Get out! I didn't know that.
If I made that up, I'm going to edit it out. So
now you got to leave it in for that joke.
Yeah. When you said that this episode is pie, I'm guessing when we get to the summary of the chapter, a lot of the people in the chapter wish it was also pie. Because
True enough. True enough.
Anyway, as always, we're going to chat about
It's not Lord Wyman's either.
No, it's not, thankfully. Although at this point, it might be tempting enough. As always, we're going to chat about the chapter and try not to spoil any future plot points for you. Unless, of course, you have a Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tier that includes spoilers, then we are going to spoil things for you. But regardless, hopefully we'll provide you some entertainment along the way.
We've really gone off script already.
We have, yeah. I have to remember where I was.
We'll summarise what happened, discuss our thoughts on it, provide some useful background, compare it to the television show, indulge in a little pedantry, and cover some relevant news and listener correspondence. Be sure to check out the show notes that will provide some additional information about the characters and geography of this chapter. Well, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Today, I'm doing all right. Speaking of pie, that will be something that I will not be able to eat tomorrow because you and I both have some medical procedures coming up here in the next couple of days.
What's yours? Teeth?
Well, I have to fast for 24 hours.
Oh, I know. So, no more details, thanks.
Yeah, that's why I left it at that.
That's the worst. I get hungry after 24 minutes.
Me too. That's the thing. I was at a friend's birthday lunch today and was I have to already be careful of what I can eat.
Oh, yeah.
I can't eat certain things. And so I got what I could. And I was like, the problem is I like to eat. I like to graze. I kind of snack all day long. If for even a moment there's like the slightest bit of hunger in my stomach, I'm like, let's address that need, so tomorrow is going to be pretty long and miserable, I'm predicting.
Well, I don't have the same misery as you. I'm just nil by mouth after midnight tonight until the surgery, which is at 9 a.m. tomorrow. But I drink a cup of tea so absent-mindedly in the morning that I am terrified that I'm going to have drunk that cup of tea before I remember what's happening.
Can you lock away the teapot somewhere?
Possibly, but Her Majesty wants her cup of tea when she wakes up.
Oh, okay.
Especially because she's getting up early to take me to the surgery. So.
Right, I see. Yes. And you've been doing some prep work around the house
Yeah. So I'm 6 weeks without being able to lift my right elbow above my right shoulder.
After tomorrow.
Right
now, you can move it a bit.
I can do it, but it hurts now. I mean, that's the thing. They've got me doing all these things that need my right arm in the air, but I'm like, it hurts. Why? So, yes, although it is November the 11th today, Armistice Day or Veterans Day around the world.
Oh, yes. Yes, right.
I had to put the Christmas lights up 3 days ago because that's the last opportunity I'll have to raise my hand above my head. So we have our Christmas lights up bizarrely early, not turned on yet. I'm not a lunatic. But actually, I did notice we walk our dogs the same route in the neighborhood, and I've noticed there's a house that has lights that look really good. They look like they've been put up professionally, not by, believe me, mine don't. But these lights change color. So they've been orange recently, sort of like Halloween type thing.
Yeah, sure.
But today they were red, white, and blue for Veterans Day.
Oh.
But it's the same lights.
Yes. Very
So
cool.
I'm like, they just put those lights up and leave them there all year round and then turn them seasonally.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know.
Right.
They'll
I
be
like it.
red
Good
and green
idea.
for Christmas, presumably. And
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Very cool.
pink for February and green
Yes.
for March. America is very... United States is strange about its holidays. You know, you all march to the same beat, even though you're, you know, land of the free, but we're all going to do the same thing, let me tell you.
What's in April? I don't know. They might have to just keep them off or just plain
April
old white or something.
Could be green again, sort of like spring type things, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Easter has a green thing to it, I think.
Yes, you're right, man.
But I was like, that's quite clever. I quite like that. But what was funny was they've got some other lights up for Halloween, but they were just ordinary lights. So they're orange, and they had this red, white, and blue with this big orange blob in their front yard. I was like, you got to think it all through, my friends.
Yeah, it clashed a little bit.
So my funny story from this week was from my family.
Always a
Karsten
vein
and
of funny stories.
Always, yes. Karsten and I went out for a drink, and we went to a soccer bar, a soccer-themed bar.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was really
Makes
in my
sense.
element, and Carson...
Yes, I'm sure you were.
Carson described it to my family as he felt that he had carte blanche to talk about soccer because we were in this thing. So we talked about soccer, and she complains about how much I talk about soccer, and she's got, you know, some. But I discovered that she didn't know some of the details of the most important soccer weeks of my life, which to me was astonishing. I thought she would know the player lineup, the time of the goals. I did not know that this woman was so. I mean, she's heard it 100 times that she failed
she
the
should
test.
know by now.
It's
Yeah.
disappointing.
She's not taking notes, clearly.
But she asked me when my little sister Lucy started to come to see Oldham with me and my dad. Yeah. And I have a guess what my answer was, Mackelly.
I have no idea. Is your answer?
Correct.
That's me exactly. Being you.
Yes. I do not remember, is what I actually said.
Right.
So we were in possession of devices that connect to the internet. And
oh, yes, we are.
My sister is also on the internet. And so Carson was able to ask her directly, when did you start going to see Oldham? And Lucy, historically, if you remember the length of the hedge story.
Yes, it's as long as the hedge.
She doesn't always use the same units as everybody else. And her response to this question was, oh, it was the time they gave away free tickets to school kids. No,
wow.
I get that that's strictly true, but you are talking to your American sister-in-law who has no knowledge of when that was, so it doesn't help her.
Well, that really narrows it down.
Yeah, so Carson made that point, but when, Lucy, when? And Lucy said, well, it was Joe Royal's first game in charge. Like, are you doing this on purpose? Are you trying to get on the podcast? Rob was laughing about this when he came on, but he was almost as bad because he said, I started going in the era of Andy Linnigan and Mark Ward. And Carson was like, I don't know those people either.
That means nothing to me.
So yes, my family, never a straight answer.
No, I guess not. But usually a colorful and interesting answer.
For sure.
Yes.
But the thing is, it's funny in retrospect, but at the time, it's just like, what is wrong with you?
How is that helpful?
This calendar has been in place for 2,000 years, and somehow you've come up with a different way of doing time.
She said, well, the hedge was only about this high when I started going, and only this long.
All right, well, let's get down to business. How do we leave the King's Prize? Well, first of all, we better identify who the King's Prize is. That would be Asha Greyjoy. Why doesn't he just make her a point of view character at this point? We keep having Asha chapters that are named for other things. I mean, like...
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Last we saw of Asha, she was desperately fleeing Deepwood Motte as Stannis' army descended. They were fleeing to their longships, but they're eventually run to ground by Stannis' army. We thought she might have been killed at the end, but guessing not, since we've got a chapter about her right now.
Yep.
So why don't we give the summary of this one, Mackelly?
Okay. So Stannis' host files out of Deepwood Motte. Southern knights, hill clansmen on shaggy garrons, and a mile of carts behind. In a covered wagon, Asha Greyjoy is chained. She's guarded day and night by Alysane Mormont. Stannis means to take Asha to Winterfell in chains to show the North the Kraken's daughter bound and broken, a display of his ability to remove the Ironborn from the North. Asha knows her worth as a hostage is nothing, as her uncle Euron controls the Iron Islands.
There are 100 leagues of forest between Deepwood Motte and Winterfell. A 15-day ride, it should be. Some unwise lords and knights boast that Robert would have done it in 10. I'm going to just go out on a limb here and say that is not how to endear yourself to Stannis Baratheon.
No, definitely
we agree
not.
on that one. Yeah. Asha's ankle throbs from the fight outside of Deepwood Motte. She recalls kneeling before Stannis to save the 9 Ironborn who survived with her. Stannis granted their lives, but Asha saw no mercy in his eyes. To Asha, the king is iron-willed, suspicious, and uncomfortable around women. Only one woman moves Stannis, and that's Melisandre, who's been left at the wall. Sir Justin Massey, who commands the baggage train and acts as Asha's jailer, would sooner Melisandre were here. The last battle they faced without her was the Blackwater.
Asha has heard the council squabbling. Southern knights urged wintering or caution. The northern wolves, mountain clans, and the she-bear, Alysane Mormont, insist Bolton must be removed from Winterfell and Ned's girl rescued. When a knight invokes Robert, Stannis cuts him short. I am not Robert, but we will march, and we will free Winterfell, or die trying. If the lords and knights have reservations, the common men believe in their king. Stannis broke Mance at the wall, cleared Deepwood Motte, held Storm's End during Robert's rebellion, and bears the legendary sword Lightbringer.
On the first day, Sir Justin attends to Asha's comfort and weighs her worth, bringing food, news, and easy japes. Alysane warns, he wants you. Asha thinks he wants the Iron Islands. Stannis had blocked Sir Justin's wildling princess scheme. Now he aims for a Kraken bride. But Euron would swallow him whole. Still, better his company than silence. Her own men rot in Glover's dungeons.
The hosts make 22 miles the first day, then 24 the second. They're often running. At night, the Queen's men, led by Sir Godry Faring, pray around the roaring night fire. Chained in the cart, Asha begs a horse, but Sir Justin can't oblige. The she-bear says Asha can't be trusted after what Theon did at Winterfell. Asha realizes that no matter how the impending battle plays out, Theon won't likely survive.
Asha kneels and offers ships, men, and Torrens Square if he will make her his man. The gods did not make you a man, how can I? Retorts Stannis. She says that Stannis' brother Robert was renowned for making former foes his friends, but Stannis dismisses her. Sir Justin tells her, slightly too late, never to speak of Robert in front of the king. that's a on the way in message, I think.
Yes. Whatever you say to him, do not invoke his older brother. Snow begins as flurries on day 4 and never stops. The hill clans adapt, bear paws lashed to boots and to the shoes of the Garrons. Southern horses do less well. Wagons plunge through a frozen pond. Lord Harwood Fell is rescued but dies later of the cold. The Queen's men start to murmur of a sacrifice to end the storm. False northern gods sent this, only R'hllor can end it. Stannis rejects the idea, but Asha wonders for how long.
Each night the cold count is tallied in the king's tent. Men dead, men missing, horses lost. Sir Justin reports that some men just wander off or sit down to die. Let them, we press on, Stannis responds. When the 15th day arrives, they've crossed less than half the distance. On day 20, Asha is finally freed of her shackles when one of the horses pulling her wain dies. There's no horse for her, so she walks ankles screaming until the cold numbs it. By day 26, the vegetables are gone. Day 32, the grain and fodder.
We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. Are you ready to make some unforgettable memories? Well, if so, consider the Marriott Bonvoy program. Discover the perfect destination for your summer getaway and unlock exclusive deals on luxurious accommodations. With our affiliate partnership, you'll enjoy unbeatable savings and a seamless booking experience. Don't let summer slip away. Visit Marriott Bonvoy today and make this vacation season one for the books. Use our Ghosts of Harrenhal affiliate page to check it all out and buy Bonvoy points or give some as a gift. The link to our page is in the show notes. Lord Peaseberry calls the march madness and blames the mountain clans for bad counsel for his ill-fated march. Did you see? Calls it March Madness. That threw in there.
That's good. I didn't notice at all.
Big Bucket Wall roars that this is war and men die in war. Better to die fighting for Ned's girl than alone in the snow. He wants to lick Bolton blood from his lips before he meets his last winter. The hillmen bang cups and horns in fierce assent.
They stop at a small abandoned village with a frozen lake. Stannis allows them to fish, but wants to move on in the morning. However, morning brings only silence. No trumpets, no war horns, only a white world. Roose Bolton is safe behind Winterfell's walls, waiting, but Stannis' host is snowbound, unmoving, walled in by ice and snow, and starving.
Oh boy, that doesn't sound good.
No.
Like so many adventures, like the beginning of The Lord of the Rings, they march out of Hobbiton all ready for adventure.
Singing a song.
Yes. And, this group comes out of Deepwood Motte with all the pomp and circumstance. We kind of glossed over it a little bit, full of gallantry and hope, and it ends, at least in this chapter, in utter chaos, disaster, and much death.
Yeah, I sort of envision my day tomorrow to being a little microcosm of this. I'm going to leave the house with a swagger in my step and a song in my heart, and return only a few hours later, like Ozzy Osbourne in his last days.
Yes, decrepit and illegible. I meant to say unintelligible, not illegible. But
well, it's ideal that you did that.
Yes.
I found you utterly illegible.
But you mentioned just last chapter, the Theon chapter, that the weather played a major character in that chapter. Yeah. And here we are again, even more of a major character.
Up or down in this case, with respect to the thermostat anyway.
15 days, 100 leagues, 300 miles, they keep repeating to themselves throughout the chapter as the days pile up and the miles.
Can you imagine? I mean, they've been more than a month just marching with food dwindling, horses dying. I mean, it's just going to be so miserable. Yeah, but the men dying is awful, of course, for the men who die and for their friends, but it doesn't necessarily slow you down. The horses dying, that literally slows you down. Of course, apart from the horses who couldn't walk in the snow, who were no use to you anyway, they were slowing you down by themselves. When they were alive, they were slowing you down.
Right, yeah. But we had talked last chapter about how if we were Bolton scouts, we would have just come back from the storm and say, "Oh yeah, they're halted, they're bogged down, they're not moving anywhere." But it turns out they were actually right. The host is splitting apart. The Northmen are running ahead on horses that are meant for the snow and their snowshoes, and the rest of the army is just ground to a halt by the end of the chapter.
What if Stannis could convince the Northmen to, the mountain clans to just go take Winterfell? Send out a rescue party once they've done that,
Right. You guys go take the castle. We'll be here waiting.
Because clearly we're no use at all.
But once again, for the second time in his life, Stannis finds himself trapped amidst another hunger strife situation.
Mm.
The first being his survival of the Siege of Storm's End during Robert's Rebellion. I bet in his own mind, because he would never say this out loud, he's thinking, how in the world did I end up in another situation where I am struggling to find enough food to feed my people and not have us all perish, just like what happened earlier in my life?
Yeah, I once read, and I don't know if this is true, that serious like near death starvation can scar you to the point where it affects your DNA, so that your children are inherit a genetic memory of how close you came to dying of starvation.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it only applies if you haven't had your children yet, but I think that's true of Shireen. At least his first near starvation event came before Shireen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's genetically marked by his his eating shoes.
That that is fascinating. I noticed he was served a bowl of onion soup that was growing cold in front of him, and I thought, who would ever feed him onion soup again? I bet he never wants to smell an onion again for the rest of his life, because that's why Davos is the Onion Knight, because he smuggled onions into the castle during the siege.
I don't know, day 32 at sub 32 Fahrenheit, you might be like, oh, you know what? I'd forgotten how much I like this.
I'll take it. But yeah, now, not only he survived the siege of Storm's End, but now you've got the weather as a major added factor, which could possibly make this worse than the actual situation.
Well, yes. The thing about Storm's End was there were always rats to catch.
Yeah,
there was a possible source of food. What's the possible source of food here? I mean, like, the leaves have fallen off the trees. Are you going to eat the bark?
Yeah, the dead horses that are
dropping
along the way.
They're going to run out pretty soon
it.
As well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we discussed last chapter that Stannis is collecting prizes, or at least prizes as he perceives them. First Val, and now Asha. I'll say he's keeping Asha a lot closer than he was Val. He has no idea what Val's up to at this point. But
that's true. Now he doesn't. Yes. Yeah.
But again,
now
both of them could be considered princesses, and so the whole royal blood thing always sort of like, whenever I think of Stannis wanting someone, I'm like,
yeah. Right. Now, neither technically are princesses of royal blood, especially not Val. She just happened to be the sister of the woman that Mance married.
Burned people for not converting.
Well, Melisandre has, to be fair.
Yes.
And she's not here. We had the princess in quotes, Val, and now the daughter of Lord Balon. Although Balon was styling himself king, he was really no more a king than Mance was.
What did Balon say about kneeling? He's like, you can always stand again.
Yes.
He's a lord now, but he claimed to be a king and then knelt, and then later on claimed to be a king again.
I'm a king again. That's right.
Exactly.
Yes. Now that the people who made me kneel are dead, I'm going to be a king again.
Mm-hmm.
And Asha took that tactic when she bent the knee to Stannis here. Well, in her memory here in this chapter. So we've got the Princess Val. We've got the princess, in quotes, both in quotes, Asha. From that perspective, you would think that if Theon can make it to Stannis, he might be treated the same way. But hearing how the Northmen feel about him makes me unsure if that's the type of treatment that he will get. Now, he is the last living male heir of Balon Greyjoy. So Stannis might decide, I can rally the Iron Islands around this guy. Although that's probably not true. He might be thinking that.
True. Yeah.
But he wouldn't have the protection, in quotes, of the Boltons here. So he might end up on a pyre. Or worse.
But it sort of depends what he brings. Because if he brings his broken body and a letter of apology for all the ills he's done to the North, yeah, the Northmen will want him. The Northmen will convert to R'hllor just to burn Theon.
Right. Just temporary membership.
But if he comes with, hey, I know the way to bring down the Boltons, or here, I've rescued Arya.
Yeah, that's true.
That sweetens the
distinction.
deal.
Yeah.
Of course, be a bit of a hard sell. I mean, he struggled to sell Arya on the front end, it'd be even harder to sell her on the back end. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I married the Boltons to some steward's daughter, but here's Arya Stark.
Right. Well, they won't realize that they're the same, one and the same, until they get into the castle and be like, "What? Now, where's the steward's daughter?" Oh, yeah. You see, the thing is,
she couldn't be with us. So, Asha's being guarded or sharing the wain with Alysane Mormont, who's known as the She-Bear. We hadn't met her before, but we know the family. This is the Mormonts. This is would these be nieces of Ser Jorah?
Yeah, they would be. Yes.
Yeah. Well, she would be a niece, one of several.
Yes. Right. Yeah, I guess
I told
so.
You now.
Mage would be Gior's sister. So they'd be cousins.
Cousins. They'd be cousins.
Yes,
yeah.
They would be cousins. Right. Yeah, so we have not met her before, but we got that letter in that Jon chapter from Stannis that told of Alysane and the Mormont forces sneak attacking and burning the Ironborn ships that were anchored off the coast. And now it seems that she has joined Stannis' cause. She might be regretting it by the end of this chapter, but that's what it seems has happened here. And she's now the heir to her mother Mage since Daisy died at the Red Wedding.
Mm.
And just a reminder about Mage, because she's disappeared since the Storm of Swords. The last we saw of her, she was sent by Robb to find Greywater Watch with instructions for the Crannog men to attack the Ironborn force and free Moat Cailin. Just before that, Robb signed a letter and had everyone witness it, making Jon his heir. Could she be carrying that too? Is she and Galbart Glover, who went with her, going to reveal this is Jon Snow is my heir at some point in the story, maybe?
Interesting. Yeah. I'd forgotten all about that. I remember you made the point at the time that letter might come back to be important, but yeah. But she didn't get there. I mean, she and the Crannog men didn't get there in time, right? Moat Cailin fell not because of their efforts.
Correct.
But because
that
of
was because of Theon's efforts.
Yeah, well, Theon specifically, yeah. Actually, now you've mentioned the fact that the Mormonts attacked the Ironborn. There is kind of an east-west divide here in the north. The western side of the country of the north is plagued by the Ironborn habitually and specifically at the moment.
Yes.
But Bolton's strength comes from the east side. So I'm not sure about Stannis' idea of parading her as, see, I can clear the north of the Ironborn. There might just be a sort of big collective shrug from the people in Winterfell, like
right.
We care.
Especially around like those houses from the east coast of the north would be like, I haven't seen an Ironborn in ages, so what does it matter to me? Yeah. And it makes me wonder, could that be short-sighted that he being Stannis, passed up the opportunity to free Torrhen Square from Dagmere and free another castle? I have freed Deepwood Motte. I have freed Torrhen Square.
But flip side of that, law of diminishing returns. Like, oh, you defeated the Ironborn. Oh, you defeated the Ironborn again. Oh,
well, I guess so. Yeah. Speaking of the defeat of the Ironborn, we learn in this chapter that only 9 Ironborn remain from the force that Asha had in Deepwood Motte. And I went back and looked it up. Before this battle outside of Deepwood Motte, she had roughly 200 people in her force. So they've been all but obliterated. We do know that Tris Botley and Carl the Maid both survived. Okay. So the love triangle could still persist, except for that both of them are stuck in the dungeons of Deepwood Motte right now. So
they've got each other.
Yeah.
I'm glad you used obliterate, actually, because there was a temptation to use decimate, but decimate means losing 9 out of 10, I believe. So
Oh,
this
does it?
this would be 19 out of 20. So in fact, they've been doubly decimated, basically.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So several times in the chapter, and it becomes apparent to Asha, but it's reinforced to us how prickly Stannis is about the shadow of his big brother, and how everything that Robert did that outshines what Stannis is capable of just annoys him more and more. And it doesn't help that people keep reminding him of how Robert would do this.
It doesn't.
In fact, I believe in our last podcast, we talked about how Robert would do it better.
Yeah, we did. And we probably were proven right here in this chapter.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, Richard Horp brings up Robert when discussing staying in Deepwood Motte versus marching. So you would think when Asha brings him up again that she would have learned from the reaction that Stannis had when Horp brought him up.
Yeah.
But yet she seemed to not have.
It's always going to be the temptation, though. It's like this person is envious of his brother. So do you mention, well, your brother would do it this way to try and goad him into doing it, or does it have the opposite effect? It hardens his heart against it, you know?
Yes, he could be like, well, if Robert can do it, I can do it too.
I'll do it even better.
Yeah. She thinks right away that she respects his toughness, but she can't like him. He's too unyielding and cold. And she notices a cold fury boiling beneath his surface. And that made me immediately think that the Baratheon words are, ours is the fury. So there's I guess maybe that's why. Maybe there's a fury boiling underneath many of the Baratheons. But it did make me think of your point in the last chapter, that it takes a special leader for success in these type of circumstances. And like we just said, Stannis doesn't seem to be up for the task. He's too unyielding and driving forward at all cost. When Justin Massey says that reports that men are just sitting down to die or wandering off to die, he says, let them, we press on. You know, that's not that special leader that is needed here in this situation.
Honestly, I don't think it's that special. It's just an understanding that commanding people to do something self-sacrificing isn't the way. You've got to inspire them to self-sacrifice.
Yes. You know? And he has no interaction with his men beyond his knights and lords to keep the men's spirits up. I was reminded that I think John's thoughts to us were that Ned would tell him and Rob that he invites his random parts of his household to eat with him at the high table, right? Just so they get to know him and just so they get to feel like they're included. So I was thinking, invite just randomly selected men into the king's tent nightly to eat with the king and find inspiration to push forward. That's not that much to ask. Just a handful of men every night or so. So
it'd be slightly funny if he did that, but the men in the tent were then served like the thinnest of onion gruel because we're with you, we're starving too, kind of thing. And you go out there and like, he's with us. Meanwhile, sort of turkeys and geese are being dragged into the tent
after they leave. That was just course one.
Exactly.
Oh man!
You mentioned Tris Botley actually, and I wanted to mention him. Something that I remembered from the last time was that just before the battle started, he was telling Asha something that gave her hope. I think was the wording that was used. It gave her hope, and it was about Torgon the Latecomer, who was a Greyjoy of the past. Was he a Greyjoy?
He might have even been a Grey Iron. I can't remember how long ago it was, but he was.
A lord of the Iron Islanders from the past, and how a king's moot that was considered moot, if you will, if the rightful heir wasn't present. And this, of course, at the time made us wonder what was going on. But if it is her thinking, if I could get Theon back to the Iron Islands, who missed the king's moot, I could undermine Euron's claim to the throne. she is heading that way very slowly, and perhaps
right.
not going to get any further than she has. But for the sake of the story, I'm hoping she gets to reunite with Theon, and that could be where this is heading. That Tris Botley thing might be what's needed to.
It certainly felt like it at the time that she got so excited that she kissed him. Now she doesn't think Theon will survive the battle. He's so unpopular in the north.
With both sides. It kind of doesn't matter how the battle goes. He's,
The southern lords and knights might not be too bothered by what he did, but the mountain clans here and the other northerners like Lyanna, not Lyanna, but Alysane Mormont despise him. And we know what's happening to him inside the castle walls. Not even just the torment and torture from Ramsay, but just the feelings that he generates from the regular rank and file inside the
dogs
castle.
Could be made to understand his treachery, they would hate him too.
Right. But instead, they love him.
They do love him, that's true.
But just to Massey voices my thoughts here is that he thinks, or actually says out loud, that he wishes Melisandre was with them because the last time she wasn't with them, it didn't go so well, and that was on the Blackwater.
True, but you could point to Deepwood Motte as look, we've had one win without her.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Asha thinks is, well, wait, last time you fought, was she at when he's like, listen, there was 200 of you and 5,000 of us. That was not really a fight that you were going to win.
Yeah, last time, when we lost, there were high walls and wildfire. Yes. We really needed her.
But unlike last time, she seems to be content to have stayed behind this time. Is the difference because she believes that at Castle Black at the Wall is where this final battle is going to take place, versus in the other instance, she was stuck on Dragonstone?
The one thing about that is that she's put a lot of her eggs, and I would say all of her eggs, in the Stannis basket. So
yes,
if she's foreseen that he's just going to die of cold and starvation, then that's kind of a little bit blasé of her to have come this far to just let that happen. Unless she's seen a change in her visions.
We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Audible. To get a free audiobook, or 2 if you're an Amazon Prime member, go to our exclusive URL, audibletrial.com/ghostsharrenhal. You can find the link in our show notes. And we've seen, remember, in her POV, she kept asking to see Azor Ahai, and she was getting frustrated because all R'hllor was showing her was Jon Snow, and she was like we used to do back in the day with televisions, like banging the side of it. No, that's not what I want to see. Show me Azor Ahai.
You know why I was laughing is because I was thinking exactly the same thing. Like, just get Dolorous Ed to hold a piece of metal up in the air.
Right.
With his feet in the fire.
Yeah. Now, but why did he leave? Why did Stannis leave Melisandre behind? Was it ego, proving that he can win a battle without her? Or wanting to leave someone that he trusts at Castle Black to make sure that the Night's Watch doesn't undo the plans he's put
Or didn't he
there?
buy into what didn't Jon tell him to not take her? That he would have a better time of convincing the mountain clans if he went by without her.
Oh, maybe. I know he told Stannis not to bring the wildlings. But I can't remember if he included Melisandre.
You're probably right. It probably was the wildlings I was thinking of. Yeah. So, but I think it's true as well. I think she might have made the mountain clans a little bit leerier of him.
That is true. That makes a lot of sense because they're very much old god followers. And might not react very well.
I feel like the whole chapter was designed to just increase the sense of foreboding, not just the weather, but also the would Stannis do something desperate, and by desperate I mean burn someone, even without Melisandre there to sort of like see over it, because does she have some special incantation to the fires where she burns
That
people? Or is
is
it,
an excellent question.
can you just
Yes.
throw a human on the fire and see what happens, Uh,
Right.
and if he would, Asha does seem like the most likely target for that. She's the one person in this huge train who is both arguably a princess and certainly an enemy.
Yes. That is very true. The only argument for the other side is that the chapter is called The King's Prize, and
Yeah.
she is the King's Prize. So he wants to parade her in front of Winterfell to prove that he's capable of removing the Ironborn from the north, but possibly he might reach the point where he thinks to himself, if I don't sacrifice her, then we might not survive. So it's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
have this prize or have my force survive at all.
Yes.
But as he points out, half of his army is non-believers, and I assume he means the mountain clans. Surely the mountain clansmen are off the table, because you sacrifice one mountain clan, you're going to lose the entire, not one mountain clan, one member of one mountain clan.
Yes.
You're going to lose the entire force of the army, or
Exactly.
the entire army.
I think that's a safe bet, yes. Maybe she's the King's Prize in that he needs fuel,
Oh, yes. That could be another interpretation of prize. Yeah.
Yeah. Not happy with it. I mean, plus,
No.
maybe that's why she doesn't get a POV, because she's not long for this world,
Maybe. She's a great character. I hope that's not the case. But
Yeah.
with George Martin, you never know.
Yeah, I was reading about why she was renamed in the TV show, and some of it was, I mean, obviously it was a clash with the name Osha,
Right.
and so Asha got renamed Yara to avoid that, but it was partly because they hadn't, when they wrote her into the first season she was in, they weren't sure they were no. Osha came into the story first, and Osha's part was built up compared to the books. And then when they wrote this one in, they didn't know if they were going to carry on with the storyline as it was. So they didn't know that their Yara was going to have such an important part in the going on story. So they decided to change her name, even though she's a much more important character than Osha.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
That's pretty cool.
Mm.
Pretty good insight there.
Yeah, I mean, a Google search will get you there. I mean,
Google searches can provide some fascinating insights.
So I will say the thought of how cold it is pretty scary to me. I often say that I can stand cold much easier than I can hot, but this chapter is sort of chipping away at my resolve, because as I read it, I mean, the thing about this is, if you just read the words and don't let it soak into you, it's just words, But if you read it 3 or 4 times, you like, good God, these people would be cold. They would be so cold.
Unimaginably cold, especially as their horses are dying and they're forced to walk, on foot through these snowdrifts. And the nightly cold count is just awful. The amount of men and horses and supplies they're losing daily. And it makes you wonder, if they arrive at Winterfell, what shape are they going to be in for fighting?
There's just 5 of us. Can we come in?
Yeah, right. That's all that's left. Near the end of the chapter, as they're approaching the abandoned Crofters village, the scouts say we're 3 days ride from Winterfell if we leave the week behind. And maybe that's the plan. Maybe you leave the week at this village and let them convalesce.
Wouldn't that be all of them at this point, though?
It sure does feel like that, based on the descriptions.
On the subject of being the tough walk, we think that Asha has broken her ankle, and she's walking on a broken ankle, and she's walking miles a day in the snow. I know. I mean, like, I'm still complaining about putting those Christmas lights up. 3 days later, and I'm like, oh, my shoulder. And she's marching through the north on a broken ankle.
It just proves you're not Ironborn.
It's true. It's true.
You were born on an island, but it wasn't the Iron Islands.
That's true.
So at the end of the chapter, tensions are running really high, and the Southern lords start attacking the Northern Mountain clans for, you set us up for this. This was your fault. You advised us to do this. I think maybe you are secretly working for the Boltons.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes clear, I think it's Big Bucket Wall, who speaks up and says, we're here for two things. We're here to remove the Boltons from Winterfell, and we're here to free Ned's girl. And they make it very clear they're willing to die for this cause. And all I could think about was, half the cause is fake. They can legitimately get the Boltons out of Winterfell. The other half, freeing Ned's little girl, many men could die in that effort, only to discover, oh, Ned's little girl's not in this castle at all.
I wonder if the Boltons think about that. They might send someone out to parley and say, so we're going to fight to the death here. We've got stores and walls and you're not getting in. And hey, you hairy fellas on the Garrons, just to let you know something, it's not the real Arya.
Don't tell anyone inside the castle, though.
That's right.
Go back to your mountains and just keep it there. Yeah, that's there. I mean, you could see what it's been mentioned multiple times. I think Justin Massey voices it in this chapter, and it was mentioned by Barbara Dustin last chapter. The North might fear the Boltons, but they love the Starks, and these mountain clansmen are willing to die to defend Ned's girl, because that's how much they love and respect Ned and the Starks.
Yeah. Well, I hope they dig themselves out of this mess.
Yes.
What about, it's time for some spoilers. Remember, you can join us at the upper tiers of the Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer levels, and then you can get the spoilers. And if you're interested, you can try it out for a week for free. All right, good spoilers. Time for some background. What do you think? What have you found here? I couldn't think of anything. I thought you might give us like Eskimo words for snow.
That would have been a good option. You should have told me that ahead of time. Well, so Asha thinks that Sir Justin Massey's kindness as her jailer has more to do with him wanting her claim to the Iron Islands than to him wanting her. She thinks that Sir Justin has lost his...
It's a bit of both.
I'm sure it is. She thinks that Sir Justin has lost his lands in the south and is looking to marry her, put her on the Seastone chair, and rule through her. So, let's look at the land she believes he's lost. The seat of House Massey is Stone Dance, located where else but Massey's Hook, the peninsula that juts out to form the lower jaw of the Gullet, the land that surrounds the Blackwater Bay. Stone Dance sits just south of Sharp Point, which is the northernmost end of the peninsula.
Mm-hmm.
The lands of Massey's Hook was originally part of the Stormlands. However, after Aegon's conquering, it became part of the Crown Lands, owing fealty to the Targaryens and King's Landing. The House Massey, dates back to the First Men, and their sigil is 3 spirals, red, green, and blue, on a white background, possibly signifying 3 storms dating back to their Stormland roots.
Okay, nice. Comparison with the television show, Stannis never captured Yara Asha. She went back to the Iron Islands where Balon was still alive. That's after the North as a general forced the Iron Islanders out.
Right.
There she tried to reason with Balon that their attempt to steal the North had failed, but he wouldn't listen to her.
So kind of like she did at the Kingsmoot, kind of her argument.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. That's her Kingsmoot argument was transferred to that conversation, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And he was murdered pretty much immediately after that. So kind of making it seem like it might be her, honestly.
Right.
Stannis does have trouble with the snow in trying to regain Winterfell, but that's about as much similarity as is maintained. This sort of like this track from Deepwood Motte, the mountain clans, that's all kind of like ignored a little bit. It's just it's him and his southern knights who get stuck in the snow.
Makes sense.
Pedantry. I couldn't see anything this time.
Nor did I.
All right. Moving on then. News and notes.
Well, we only have one bit of news and notes this week. And unfortunately, it's not a new member of our Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tier. So maybe next week. But we do have some wild news in the A Song of Ice and Fire world. There's a scandal brewing. So the illustrated edition of A Feast for Crows was released last week. And what should be an exciting time for A Song of Ice and Fire fans is exciting, but for all the wrong reasons. Many consumers are accusing the artwork, ostensibly crafted by artist Jeffrey R. McDonald, of being AI generated. Examples are popping up all over social media, and I've seen them, and I have to say the evidence isn't great for publisher Penguin Random House. There are a lot of head-scratching details to many of the images, such as Tywin with hair. There's one with Cersei wearing what appears to be leg armor, sitting by the Iron Throne. Many of the characters in the images are just wearing this plain blue clothing with no house sigils whatsoever. However, on George Martin's blog, his art director, Rhea Golden, has stated that to the best of their knowledge, the artists did not use AI to generate the images. And just as an aside, Martin is currently in a copyright infringement lawsuit against OpenAI. So you would think he would be very much not in favor of using AI to generate these images.
The acid test typically for AI-generated images is a finger count.
Yes, I looked for those, and they did seem to match up okay.
They had the right number of fingers, okay. I wonder if they've got the prompt right. Give me some Westeros type image and make sure everyone has 5 fingers. Yeah,
maybe.
Apart from Davos.
Yes, right. If Davos has 5 fingers, you know there's a problem.
Interesting. Oh,
yeah. Go check out the images on. I've seen them. I was reading articles on it today, and I've seen them all over Twitter. So, it's I'm no expert. But I can understand where people are coming from with these accusations.
Yeah. So let's conclude this one. Asha is still with us, hooray. But maybe her next step is a big bonfire, and that wouldn't be nice. Although, again, she'll probably be pretty numb from the cold. That might make it hurt less.
Maybe for a second.
Yeah.
Not too much longer. Speaking of hurting, she's walking on what appears to be a broken ankle. First of all, before she was walking on it, she had what are they called? Shackles on her broken ankle, which also would be incredibly painful.
Yeah.
And
again, I'm feeling not very tough right this second.
She's Ironborn, that's for sure.
Yeah. She's making good points to Stannis about how she could be useful to him, but she really didn't know at the time how to be the Stannis Whisperer.
No.
So just imagine he had the keys to the kingdom, but he kept them to himself until she'd forever spoiled her pitch to Stannis.
Yes. She doesn't have much to offer besides her Greyjoy name, but I'll maintain Torrhen Square isn't nothing. The issue is how to get to it. I guess you would send a small force with Asha to Torrhen Square. It's been unmolested since Dagmar Cleftjaw took it, so maybe they would be able to provide some reinforcements to this force.
What's the deal? Yeah, I mean, could you leave the safety and comfort of your castle here and join us in a snowbound village where we're all starving?
Yes. And how does that force get back to Stannis? I could see a small force with Asha getting there. How do they get a bigger force back? So, yeah, that's a problem. But Stannis is really, speaking of being stuck, he is jammed up pretty good here. Yeah, he's snowbound. The resources are dwindling, mutiny in the ranks. It's really not a good scene. And you know what he could really use right now? Someone who's known for their work with fire and heat type situations.
True. I would thought you might say that.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine where's Melisandre when you need her, but that's what we're thinking right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And silence meets Asha on the final day of this chapter. Stannis said the night before, we march tomorrow, but there's no signs of such prep. So what's going on there? Has he changed his mind? Is something else wrong?
Is everyone just having a lie-in?
I guess so. It's no real hurry to get out of those tents.
All right, next time we're back to Essos to check on Queen Daenerys, presumably quite a bit warmer.
Yes.
There's 3 ways that you can help us. You could leave us a 5-star rating and a positive review. You could buy a cup of Arbor Gold at buymeacoffee.com/ghostharrenhal. There you can join us at any of the various sustainer levels. There's a tier to match your budget and interests, and you can try them out for a week before you decide. Or you can make a donation directly to our cause at our website, ghostsofharrenhal.buzzsprout.com.
And if you're looking for more ways to interact with us, well, one thing you can do is you can send us a text. The link is at the top of every episode show notes. Just please keep in mind, we have no means of responding, but we do very much enjoy reading them. And if you're looking to keep up on the latest Ghosts of Harrenhal news and developments, well, you can always check us out on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Ghost Harrenhal. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and YouTube.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.